Everybody, I want to thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Sober Talk. I'm Ryan.
I'm Brittany.
And today here we have Antoinette James.
Hey.
Who is the author of the book here, Beyond the Badge, that we'll be getting into today. So Antoinette, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and your past and where you are today.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Ryan. Again, I'm just honored to be here today.
Thank you for coming.
And so a little bit about myself. I am a passionate advocate. I am a self-published author. My book sitting here is Behind the Badge, Her Story, based on a true story. And I love serving people. My favorite thing to say is I'm a light through the tunnel, not at the end, because by the time people get at the end, it may be too late. So that's who I am in a nutshell. I'm married. It'll be 20 years on Christmas Eve. Ooh.
Nice. That's good.
Yes, God is good. Let me tell you, we making our own record. I'm a mother. We do have a blended family. My husband has 2 sons. They're adults, and I have 3 daughters. They're also adults, and we're also grandparents raising grandchildren.
Nice.
We have our oldest that we have. He is 17. He's 17, a senior in high school. They got a game tonight. Go Pirates!
Go Pirates!
And yes, and then we have a 13-year-old as well. So God is definitely we got a dog.
So what do they call you? Glammy, Glamma, Grandma?
No, Nana.
Nana. I like that.
I'm Nana. Everybody can't believe when they know I'm their grandparents.
I can't believe
They're
it.
like, you're not a grandma. Yeah,
Grandma.
Yeah, I'm a grandma, but a grandma. But yeah, God, I just say God preserves, and He definitely we don't look like what we've been through, right? So that's a little bit about me, who I am personally. And if you want to talk about me professionally, I tell people I don't wear a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like God has gifted me to wear a coat of many colors, where I do a lot of things. Currently, I'm a director of network development for an organization called Tiger Eye Network.
Okay.
We are a detox and recovery residency program. It's newly formed. We got a part of the opioid settlement grant. We're funded from that source. We completed our first, I want to say it's a pilot from a pilot.
Okay.
So we just completed that. Our rate, we had 12 recovery residencies, and out of the 12, 9 successfully completed the program.
Nice.
So I say that's pretty good. That's actually great, especially in the journey in recovery. I'm sure we all are aware of that journey and what that looks like. The road is never straight, right? And there may be detours. Some people make it back. I say more than what's stated make it back, but some don't. And so my prayers are with those who didn't complete it successfully. So that's what I do currently.
Nice.
That's amazing. Thank you.
It's good to have people working in the field.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Who's been through it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad for this episode and with you 2 ladies, because it's not only just a regular conversation. To me, it's almost like an education, because you hear a lot about women in recovery, how it is different. You said you're a grandmother, wife, mom, and changes that happen through there. And I find it kind of hard almost to have the conversation, not because of asking the questions, but in the sense of a lot of our women, especially in our culture, may get triggered where we as Black men question it. And a lot of times it comes off, like it's not being heard. But I know it's a lot of times it's just, hey, I don't know. Can you tell me? So I'm glad to have you 2. And the first one is just being in recovery. What was it like for you? What was both of you all's journey and walk? Was it something that was different that a lot of men don't understand, or was it something hard for you to come out to? So just give us a little background from both of your points of view.
That's a good question. I feel like, and I don't know if you can relate to it, that it's a stigma for Black women. So it was really hard for me to even admit that I had an addiction to family members, to just publicly, because I felt like it wasn't something that a lot of Black women talked about. So for me, it was, at first I was in hiding. I was very secretive about it. It was hard for me to talk to people about it, until I was able to find like fellowships and groups to where I was able to finally be open and honest about it, because I felt like everything that I went through was to help somebody else, or everything that I went through was for, somebody else to see that you were able to make it out of. And I don't think that things that we go through are meant for us to keep to ourselves all the time, because it could be helping somebody else. But I remember at first, I was almost like I was embarrassed. I was, I don't know, I just felt humiliation. Like I couldn't talk to anybody. Like everyone would look at me. I was thinking about what everyone would think of me. As I've said before, that I've always had an issue about caring about what people thought of me. So that was it for me at first. But now I'm able to walk in it more confidently. As you can see, I'm on a podcast. I'm posting about it. Like I'm actually openly speaking about it, and it's healing to me. It's helping me more.
Okay.
I would agree with you, Brittany. I definitely, for me, I think when you really don't know what addiction is, you don't really know that you're addicted, right? You don't know how to label it.
Right.
So for me, in my journey, I don't have the typical recovery story. Like I've never been into a detox program. I never had to go to a recovery center, so to speak. Like ours is a 90-day recovery program. First, the potential resident had to complete detox, and then another 21 days inpatient before we even would take a referral, right? So I can't relate to that, because for me, my addiction to alcohol came in seasons, right? Where maybe, and I really didn't even think about being addicted to it until I realized that I was really struggling with it. And that's after I left the police department, because in my journey, I would drink when my children, when they went to live with their dad when I got divorced. So I got married at 16. I was a very troubled young lady. A lot of things happened in my past that I realized I had locked in a box, and things started coming out later, especially as I wrote Behind the Bachelor Story. So through a lot of that, when I got older, my children would go with their father on the weekends, and that was time for me to party, because I felt like I was missing life, right? I never partied.
Right.
And so when I did, I would binge drink, I think they call it. Drink on the weekend and then be okay on Monday. At least that's what I thought.
Right.
And then when it came to the police department, I had been sober for a period of time, and my sobriety came through my walk with God and my relationship, I believe. And I really didn't have anybody to talk to or tell in my family. And I'm an identical twin.
Really?
Yes. So I didn't even tell my twin sister that I was struggling with alcohol issues, because I thought I was, it's just a weekend, I'm gonna be okay the next week, but on the police department, drinking was something of the norm. You get off afternoons, you could drink in a parking lot with your colleagues. Just drink and talk. Or even when you work midnights undercover, you just drink and you just talk. That's the norm. But not my norm kind of overtook me. And my professional life and personal life started kind of bleed through the same vein. And then my choice of drug, after I left the police department, because I suffered through a lot of trauma on the department, stalking and sexual harassment, and was told that it was me and I was seeing things, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then when I left the police department, my daughters, one with, all three of them would have situations, and I still struggle with the sexual harassment and stalking because the person still stalked me. So I turned to cocaine, right? And that was introduced to me. And in a relationship, I find that it's just not one person that does it, it's two.
Yep.
Right? So that was something me and my husband did, like when my daughter would leave on a weekend. And it took for me to die to live. It didn't take 20 million times and things like that. I had a death experience. I tell women, and when I share my story, I had a line for every problem grief, shame, regret, guilt. Was I not a great mom? My teenage mother, just a lot of things. And that last one I remember, all I remember is me and God having a conversation, and it was dark. And I prayed and cried out to God. This poor woman cried, and the Lord heard me, and He delivered me out of all of that. Like, He delivered me. I didn't do 12 steps, right? But I know it takes a daily walk to stay delivered from substance use
daily.
And I told people I might not have took the 12-step program, but I walk in it every day. So that's kind of
Same thing.
yeah, it's every day. It's an everyday
12
walk.
steps is 12 steps.
Oh, what?
12
That's
steps.
an everyday 12 steps. Don't stop stepping.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, I have a question. So, what was the hardest to face publicly out of you? You mentioned how you went through, which from your book that you went through sexual assault, toxic relationships, and stalking. Like, what was the hardest thing for you to write or face publicly, or even just come to terms with?
Ooh, that's a great book, right? I mean, great question. And a book, by the way. But everything, I mean, there were nights that I couldn't write. I cried. I cried on my laptop because I did most of my writing on my laptop. When it came to the book, I cried because it's like you reliving that moment in time again. So it was really hard. It took 15 years. It took 15 years for me to write it because life happens and it was happening. Life was lifing.
Right.
They say when the enemy comes in like a flood, it was flood, not a storm. It was a flood. So I had to stop writing, put it down to take care of what was happening in real time.
Right.
And I kept picking it back up, kept going. So everything was hard. And when it came to time to actually launch the book, I remember the editor asking me, "Did you talk to your family first?" Because I share a lot of family issues and a lot of personal issues, and I had to talk to my family first before I launched the book publicly. And then when I launched the book publicly, it was well received for the most part because I went back to my hometown in Ypsilanti and did a book signing. And when I say my hometown came out, it had to be at least 300 people. Nice. We had good goodies food truck. We're at a brewery downtown in Depot Town, and the support I had was just overwhelming. And ever since then, it's been overwhelming and well received because a lot of people say, I know somebody who went through that. Yeah. You know, and it's not just my story; it's her story, even yours too, right?
I can't wait to read it.
Oh yeah, so it's been a journey, and I'm just honored to be a part of her story. The women that I write about and the stories in the past 4 years, the women that I meet, right, in rooms. And I had a dream that even before I published it, God would show me first. The first room He showed me was a church. And it was red carpet. He showed me all these red carpet lights, and I thought it was the movies, right? Because that's what I dreamed of, being a movie and being in big screen, big lights. But He took me to a church first, and the church was filled with women. And then from there, in my dream, the rooms kept getting bigger with more women. And so I shared this dream with a pastor's wife. We had this marriage retreat, and I told her about my dream, and she said, I'll do your first event. And when I went to her church, just like 6 months later, it was probably maybe 20 women in that room, maybe more, but it was red carpet. The whole sanctuary was red carpet. Wow. So God, even though what I saw in my dream as a movie or film is really the reality of life, that it's women in church who are suffering in silence, and then there's more women outside of church, right? So yeah, it's just been a surreal journey for me right now. So to answer your question, I hope I answered it.
You did.
Yeah. So it's been hard. It's becoming easier, and I feel like as I share it, I'm even healing. I know God has healed me from that hurt, but when I tell her to talk about it, it's like He does more for me maybe strengthens me. My nose running. You got some tissue? I'm sorry. God, since He keeps doing more for me to strengthen me, or even depending on who I may be talking to and the audience that may listen to this, to just tell the story, but it's all for His glory. And that's one key thing. Because when I first started talking on podcasts, I was talking about me. And people would ask questions about other people in this story, and I have to tell them it's not about him, because there's a person that it's connected to. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. But the story is about. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. When I say it's not about him, it's about the characters in my story, but it's really about God, Him. You know what I mean? So just the whole thing about Him and me and the people that I meet, it's amazing. So yeah.
Mom, what happened to
Somewhere.
Go find it.
So look.
We can cut
We can
this.
find, yeah, things happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I know I only met one other person. Great grandfather. He just stopped cold turkey after like 40 some years. Like, probably this second person I know that probably got a story that had me looking like,
Yeah.
who are you?
Yeah. We even ask ourselves when you look in the mirror, right? So, okay.
So, with the book, knowing you were a cop, what made you get into it? And then what made you get into being a vice cop? How was that like? And how did that culture in that life lead you to the drinking and lead you to down the path that wasn't spiritually for you? And then how did you get out of it?
Oh, Ryan, that's a great question. So it was a childhood dream. So, I'm sorry, my childhood dream was to be either a mortician or a Detroit homicide detective. Because as a child growing up at Ypsilanti, I grew up in church. I'm not a pew baby, but as a kid, I don't know, what's a church kid. I grew up in church, a little girl, and in my church, they talked a lot about hell and the rapture and things like that. They talk more about that and how you dress versus how you live. At least that's my take growing up.
Yeah.
Right? No skirt. I mean, no pants, no jewelry, no makeup. Couldn't play cards. Really couldn't ride my bike because you had to wear pants or shorts to ride a bike. Just the things that I was absent from to grow, enjoy growing up as a child. So what fascinated me was, okay, what happens when you die kind of thing, right? Life and death in God. And so I had a paper route. We'll go to this funeral home in our town called back then it was Lucille's. And with all my family basically being in Ypsilanti, I knew who was there, and I always would look at them and kind of be like, okay, where are they now? Kind of thing. And as I got older, like science, biology, anatomy was always intriguing, especially when you dissect frogs and stuff in science. So I was really intrigued about, how life really works, especially, I may not know human-wise and animal-wise and things. So that really intrigued me. And I would win first place in science projects because I studied the life of bees or insects, right? And so that intrigued me about life. That's the mortuary science piece. And then when it came to law enforcement, I loved Hill Street Blues, Cagney and Lacey, The Wire. Y'all remember The Wire, right? The Wire. Oh, what? Oh, The Wire was I love The Wire. Kojak, Columbo, Hawaii Five-0, Chips, 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Oh, what? And then I read the paper, Crime Blotter. I was just intrigued, and that drew me in. And so as I grew up, even through, after having my 3 daughters, and, I was really isolated, being 16, a mom and married, and I dropped out of high school. I was always told I'd never be nothing. I believed that, but I also fought that. And the fight was, instead of fighting what people said, I felt like I was fighting me. Fighting me and my past mistakes and what people said kind of thing. And I think that's what triggered the alcohol maybe. So that's what drew me in. I didn't become a mortician. I went to Wayne County Community College. I met some instructors who said, oh, you don't need to be no mortician. They don't make no money. You should come over to the police. And some of them were commanders in the police department. And I was like, no way, God. It's like God was setting things up. And that was in 1995. And some things happened along the way that kind of took me off that road to where I was going. But I became a autopsy technician at the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office by a contact at a corporate fitness club where I worked.
Okay.
And when I scanned his card and I saw Wayne County Medical Examiners pop up, I asked him, were they hiring?
Wow.
And he said, we got one spot. Would you like to come and see? And that opened up the door. It even took me further, right? Because mortuary science and being a mortician, you get them after they've gone to the morgue.
Right.
But God took me to the medical examiner's office, and I got trained on the job. And then fast forward 10 years past, well, actually it was 5 years, 99, about 7 years. Look, my addition is not quite right now. But I applied for the police department, and October the 22nd of 2001, I was accepted into the academy, class 2002D, and that's where I landed. And when you said what got me interested in Vice, is that the question? Yeah. Oh, Vice just seemed to happen because when I graduated April 10th of 2002, and I went to the 3rd precinct. That was back then was on Burner in 75, and I started days on the first day, but ended up going on midnights. In the 30 series, I was new, fresh on the job, and it's like, we need you. And they were doing sting operations.
Okay.
And so they trained me how to, decoy as a prostitute. I went to the 13th precinct back then. Wow. It was on Woodward. And I sat with the 30 series officers, watching how they walked, watching how guys circled the block and would stop and things. And then they trained us. We got a book on the language because there's a different language that they speak. In the life of prostitution, half and half, I kind of forgot some of the other things of the code language. But, and one night I was after we had done the sting operation, the Vice unit came in. And they, the decoys was all dressed up and they had all on their fatigue, like army fatigue, so to speak. Yeah. And lo and behold, there was a gentleman who came in that was their lieutenant. Mind you, this is how I know God is really with me. The lieutenant I knew 10 years prior at the fitness club where I worked. He was a member and would come in and jog every day. And I was like, no way. No way. He was like, what you doing here? And, told my story. And he was like, want to come to Vice? I was like, for real? And so I had to finish up my probation time because when you graduate, you got a time period before you could go somewhere else. And I remember telling my staff sergeant in the academy I was going to homicide, because we had a wish list. Right. And my wish list was only one thing, homicide. Wow. And he was like, don't nobody get there, Bostic. My main name is Bostic. He was like, nobody goes to homicide ever. You have to do 20 years. I said, watch me. That kind of confidence. But that's what got me how I got into Vice with the lieutenant. Mind you, I had already been trained with the 30 series. Right. So I already knew. And going into Vice, that was a whole nother level of work versus 30 series, right? Because 30 series I only decoyed part of the city. Okay. Vice unit was the entire city decoying prostitution. Wow. I saw a lot of things. There were a lot of people arrested, prominent people who were arrested doing things, and not just with women, right? Back then it was called down low. You have women who are men or, they have the breasts and things, but that opened up to see people who are living a lifestyle undercover, really undercover, under the covers, right? Under, and doing and in positions and in places that you like, oh my God, that really kind of caught me off guard. And going into places, you name it, I've been in the rooms. We're talking about blind pigs, strip clubs, rave parties, plain clothes,
The after hours.
Oh, after hours, the things they do, and you a decoy, you plain clothes watching it, you know, not knowing, not even realizing what I've seen before, but to really be, what they call that, it's a movie, The Underworld.
Okay.
It's the underworld. I think it's the underworld where the lady is the vampire with the wolves and thing. That stuff is real. I'm talking about spiritually what I seen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like vampires, you know, not with the teeth, but just
Sucking the life out of people.
out of people.
Spiritually.
Oh, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
When you be careful what you touch and what you taste,
Yeah.
because it will get attached to you. And in my environment, I believe it attached to me. It did, because my personal life, and then raising daughters, right? I had 3 daughters, and I'm telling them, I was like, instead of raising them in faith, I raised my daughters in fear. Because of what happened to me, I didn't want it to happen to them. And then what I seen in the medical examiner's office, where girls tell their mom, they going over their friend's house to spend the night, they end up in somebody's trunk burned.
Yeah.
Shot, stabbed, killed, burned,
Right.
and they lied to get to, you know, go out with guys and don't come home.
Yeah.
That back page stuff was, I seen it, you know, and I'm telling my daughters what's his license plate, where he live, what, and, you know, it's like, you doing too much, you know, but it's because of, you know, what I seen. And then it became like I said, in my life, on a police department, casually drinking. I would, you know, go on furlough. If you go on furlough, hanging out, you go on traveling to different places and spaces, you could drink, and sometimes your drinks are free. You know, and you think you can handle it, but it ends up handling you. So that's where in my career in law enforcement, thinking I can handle certain things, you know, thinking like, what Steve Harvey movie say, think like a man.
Think like a man.
And that don't act like one. That's hard to do, because you think you, as women, right? We take on this behavior. I was detached from me emotionally, spiritually. I figured God forgot about me. Right. So I detached from myself. So I behaved in a manner that was not healthy for me. And, you know, they say what happened to me, it was my fault, you know, and I'm like, how could that be? You know, guys stalking, sexual harassing, and nobody doing anything. So a lot of things led to my addiction, not even believing it was addiction.
So I know in the police force, there's a blue code of silence, right? How did that affect your mental health or impact your mental health?
That's a great question too, because the blue code of silence, it ain't just a blue. It extends beyond that. It connects, and I use the 3 Ps: the politicians, the police, and the pastors and the preachers.
Wow.
Because in my undercover work, I seen it for myself. Where you have a pastor or a preacher or someone wearing the clergy collar, you either catch them in a car with a man or with a hooker, or they think because I'm working undercover and a decoy, they think it's me, right? They think I'm the prostitute. And you end up being a politician. You end up being a preacher, and then you end up making a phone call to the mayor or to some city council person who calls your chief, who calls your supervision, and then that supervision tells your immediate sergeants not to go to court.
Wow.
And then they say, no, we going because we seen it. Right? We see what's really happening. But because of that code of silence, let's sweep it under the rug and make it disappear. Our sergeant said, we going. And we went, and the justice system, not only it's the whole it's the system. They cover up for each other, and that happened. They adjourned every hearing for this person, this pastor, and it was like, adjourn that. I didn't even know who he was till I knew. You don't know who you picking up. You don't know who's getting arrested. So that was my mental health. I was not well. I believed because of that arrest and because of what I knew, right, that I was blacklisted and that there was, I want to say, a hit on me, so to speak. Especially with the sexual harassment, the guy who I found out was doing it and had a forensic handwriting specialist verify it. A lot of things were happening to me that was questioning even my own sanity.
Right.
You know, they'll turn it on you.
Right.
That's how it works. And I'm sure you've seen other stories of other women
Yeah.
who they say is mentally ill, challenged, and is them not realizing what's happening internally in a department.
Right. Behind it.
Oh, behind it. Oh my God, it's a lot. And I say for every level of law enforcement, it gets even deeper.
Wow.
I mean, we're looking at the Epstein stuff, right?
Yeah.
The P. Diddy stuff,
Yeah.
the R. Kelly.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
The higher it is, the deeper it goes, I think. So,
out of the rabbit hole.
oh yeah, the rabbit. Oh, don't. Oh,
deep.
the rabbit hole is real. I thank God that He kept me
Yeah.
in all of that. Because I've seen a lot of women who did not make it. Like on my job, there were a lot of women who were shot and killed by their partner,
Wow.
and then their partner kills themselves.
Yeah.
You know, suicide, homicide kind of thing.
Yeah.
But God kept me. He kept me through all that because, like I said, I was at a point of I was losing it. That's where the cocaine came into play. Because I married my husband in a storm. The flood was cut, you know. But I thank God what was supposed to happen didn't. Because not only did God save me, He saved my husband too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because what could have happened, I could have been dead.
Right.
And I've seen couples die who use.
Right.
In my last assignment I had with a nonprofit organization for organ and tissue procurement, I would have to evaluate patients. It could be the husband and wife or one or the other who didn't make it on a ventilator. And I have to approach the families. So God has really kept my mind when I thought I was losing it.
Yeah.
You know, on a tip of insanity.
Yeah.
He stepped in, and I'm here today I know God kept me for this time.
That's amazing. God is amazing.
Oh, he's so great. I love talking about him.
That gives me chills. Just,
Yes. Yeah, he really is. He's more than what he's. I mean, you could talk about him on and every day. Like, if I could help anybody, that was my ask to God in that life and death situation. God, let me live through this so I can help somebody.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was, man.
That's hot.
Honestly, lead me to like 1,001 questions. And it's good because it's like hearing you say you were raising in fear, not faith.
Yeah.
And to hear a lot of modern women today saying that they're living in survival and all this, so it kind of almost leads first. Just my thought process as a man is like, what do I do to fix it? How can I help? And that's our number one thing, you know. How can I fix this?
Yeah.
And it's really nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that is the number one disconnect right there with us trying to understand it. Because I'm hearing it and I'm like, so many questions, so many things. But to hear like, hey, I had to learn how to do this. I had to learn that. And it's like, what would you say to the husband, the father, the brother? What advice would you give them to their wife, sister, whatever, to help her along this journey? Or even just how do we change that narrative of living in fear, living in survival mode, to going to living comfortably or living in just faith?
Faith. And then when you connect to someone, right? When you get in a relationship, you got to ask a lot of questions, those hard questions. You know, what are you into? What have you been into? Have you ever struggled? You really got to ask questions.
Yeah, damn.
I didn't ask questions. I actually ran from my husband when I met him. We dated for 1.5 years for a lot of other reasons. But I was, when you're raising 3 girls by yourself in whether you're a police officer or whatever your occupation might be, you know, we feel like as women we got to do it all, kind of thing. And I was doing it all, thinking you're doing it all. And when your relationship with God, it's a relationship with God that we, as a man and a woman, got to have when they come together. Because when you meet, or when you meet somebody who's willing to help unpack your luggage, because we all have baggage.
Yeah.
We all do. And thinking I'm perfect, and oh God, I'm far from perfect. And I realized he was too. But we realized it together. Like I said, it'd be 20 years, right? Both of us. 20 years, and we were married twice before. And God had to be the center.
Yeah.
Because when we got married and God saved us from the substance use, you think life would have got easier, but it got worse. What do you do when worse comes first?
Right.
You know, we say vows for richer or for poor, for sickness and in health, till death do us part. Death might not come till years later. What do you do when you poor first, right? Yeah. When your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is breakfast. Yeah. Or, you know, or I was working $80,000 with the police department, working the overtime I was making. I was doing real good, but I quit. We got married Christmas Eve. I resigned January 17th.
That's my birthday.
Oh, really? Well, happy birthday. What? I resigned. So I resigned, and so the money changed, right? And then not only the money changed, life changed. What do you do when life is lifing? Yeah. If it wasn't for the restoration that God had given me and my husband together, right? Because when the floods came, we didn't give up at the same time, because it's been days like, when you leaving? You know, what we gonna do, right? So there have been moments, but God, we came back. And we came back stronger and better. So what would you tell, what would a man need to know to tell his sister, wife, whoever that female might be in his life? God got to be at the center. There's got to be faith. Faith can be a mustard seed, but eventually your faith has to go faith to faith, right? And trust God when you can't see it, because where we were, you know, all I could say was God did it. God did that, and he keeps doing it. Yeah. Because life don't stop. Yeah. You know, trouble don't stop. A man born of a woman, his days are full of trouble, right? Stuff, your bills. You know, when the house market crash and all kinds, you just gotta anchor down. Let God be your anchor. No matter what comes your way, blow your way. It's gonna get rough. It's gonna be just hold on to God and each other. If you gotta go to one room and she gotta go to another, kind of thing. Because we have definitely you gotta grow together. Yeah.
I want to have another episode with you and your husband together.
Oh yeah, that would be really great. Yeah, we gotta bring him. You know what? He would say yes. I would, because I even tell him he has a ministry, and with men who are in recovery, who's struggling, because y'all got a whole nother set of issues. Yeah. You know what I mean? We all do. When women don't grow up with their father or their mother, and men don't grow up with their mother or father, you bring in two traumatized people with different perspectives. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV. TV's comforting for him. Okay, well, let me sit down. While you watching TV, I'm gonna be on my laptop. But I love sports, so we can at least, you know, I had a brother in college football and things, so I love sports. I love boxing. I can watch that. You know what I mean? So it's a give and give versus a give and take.
Give and give.
Oh yeah, you gotta give and give. Lord knows I'm learning that. But I thank God for getting it. So what would, you know, tell a brother how to help his sister, husband, how to help his wife, and, you know, you gotta trust God and get some help, counseling, because God with counseling, because he sends people to help you through the storm. I don't say no to therapy. I don't say no to counseling, but come in there honest, transparent, because regardless if the truth hurt, it heals, right? Because people be like, I've had to learn how to come different, because sometimes our words, it's life and death in them. It's true. And how you coming at it, you can come slicing, dicing. And my daughter says you bleed on people who didn't cut you, which was interesting. You know, I had to really That's what I say. You know, men got to be real with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first, you know, because what look like on TV, that's just a tip, and it ain't
Right.
all real.
Right.
You know, they TV depicts reality. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, just be real with yourself and your mate and your siblings, because family drama is real too.
Yes.
Family is a lot of hurt, a lot of trauma. I deal with that. So yeah.
So even this adds a layer to this question, since you were in the department, because you know you mentioned losing sense of self, or just the culture, how you just became it. So how did that happen with being in the department in this environment, on top of meeting your husband in the storm, and on top of kids, 3 daughters? So how all that together did it kind of shift from this person who grew up one way to where you became a whole different personality? Like, what was that shift like? And we know what it took to get back, but in that journey, what was that like mentally for you, or going through your head?
It's almost like being on stage, right? Being in the movies, so to speak, right? So I always think of making my life a movie when I was actually living it. We're all the main character in our own story. And for me, it was like dress rehearsal was over and I was playing the part. You know what I mean? It's what I saw on TV, you know, The Wire, Hill Street Blues, even in some of the movies with like Jamie Foxx, I think was not Jamie Foxx. Jamie Lee Curtis was in A Cop Story, where this psycho cop was liking her, and she, you know, just so many different movies that I felt like I was in. That turn off your mind on one side and turn on, okay, now you this decoy, you know, turn on your alter ego, so to speak. Because I was bullied as a kid, you know, why you look like that, why your eyes, why your hair, you skinny, you know, I never was accepted to me. Me and my twin sister felt like that because we were teased, especially how we dress. Mormon, we're like Mormons, Little House on the Prairie kind of thing. So we were teased a lot. So I felt like, especially having the uniform gave me that confidence. Like I've arrived, so to speak. The badge, the gun, the uniform itself felt like it was my confidence for what I liked growing up, or even accepted as I guess my self-confidence was, I was battling that, right? So the uniform, being a police, gave me that, and then working undercover, it gave me a whole nother sense of power and control, where I felt controlled as a little girl, being raped at 7, you know, being molested, and just a lot of the trauma in my life, sexuality wise, where other people had control over me. Now here I am working undercover, decoy and prostitution. I have control over me and the men or women who were out there doing things to others, working undercover. And it wasn't Antoinette. So Antoinette hung her clothes up and put on China when it came time to go undercover, right? If I was on Michigan Ave, you wore the stiletto boots and the glittery, pretty stuff. If I went to Chalmers and Harper, your clothes better be dirty and your teeth better be blacked out. And you better look like you homeless and muddy. So I had to really switch roles and where I was, and even encounter different women. I would encounter the prostitutes who were on the street, the women. And I even realized talking to them, because you had to kind of talk with them, because sometimes they knew you wasn't who you were. You were invading their territory. So even talk with them, finding out that they were molested as children. So you think they're out there because they want to be, but I found out it's not because they want to be, it's where they ended up being.
Right.
Because of that trauma that became an addiction to drugs, that they either were trafficked, right, to be there, and just, you know, some of them even slept with police. You know what I mean? They, you know, so just a lot of dynamics. And with my family, my daughters were teens by the time my youngest daughter was like 10 when I got on the police, but my other daughter's teenagers watching me. They didn't see that I even was able to take my 2 oldest daughters with me undercover into clubs because the clubs were selling to minors. So nobody on our vice unit had children that were teens, but me.
Yeah.
So I got to take my 2 oldest daughters, to clubs, bars, party stores where they buy, a beer and, Lucy's and things. And, we were successful getting those bars ticketed.
Yeah.
Because if they're selling, they were selling to mine and then we get up.
Yeah.
So once they got to buy the purchase.
You get it from Jimmy Bignotti,
Jimmy Bignotti.
The Wire.
What? So that, you know what? You gotta bring it back. You gotta help me bring the Wire back. But even what happened in the Wire is so close to the truth. Yeah.
Man.
So I definitely thank God who I was then. To my daughters, I feel like I was absent mentally, emotionally, not there. I grew up with them, but then I grew away from them in that life. Because working afternoons and midnights, I wasn't home. I missed a lot. I missed a lot of my children growing up. Yeah. One of them remind me of what I missed and who I was or who I wasn't,
Yeah.
So.
How's the relationship now?
One reminds me of who I was and who I wasn't in her life, and you ask for forgiveness, and you have to let God take care of it from there.
Right.
I love all my daughters. One was diagnosed with a terminal, what doctors say terminal, at 19 years old. It's mixed connective tissue disease, and that has been a journey. And I learned who I needed to be to them when they were older versus when they were young. I became the mother of faith, not fear. Right? Because when doctors were to diagnose on my 19-year-old and realizing what was going on with she was 14 then, and then my 21-year-old, what was going on in her life, and like I said, the flood.
Yeah.
And then I'm still going through what I'm going through with the police department. I'm drowning. How can I help save my daughters who were too? So that's where God came in, saved me and my husband, where I was able to support them and be the mother of faith and walk by faith in that prayer life and that God relationship to be that for them. Because it's been a journey with all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
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 Okay. So let's see. So do you have any advice for women who are struggling to forgive themselves, women who are struggling with resentment, unforgiveness, or anything of the sort?
That is a real life question, right? Because we want to forgive everybody else and hope they forgive us but ourselves. And that was a struggle for me to forgive myself. And you have to take it one step at a time and find that support group that you're in a safe space to share that with. And if you got to scream, cry, holler, write, whatever you got to do that in a safe space, but definitely don't pick up the drink. And if you are drinking, to cover that up. My prayer is that you find someone to help you put it down and be that support, that peer, because that's what I had to find, like being a twin. Yeah. But my twin sister, we're identical. So my identical twin sister and I, because of our life, is 10 years apart. I lived a lot of things first, where when she was going through, I could recognize it and be by her side to support her through it. So for women who are, struggling with forgiveness, forgive yourself first. Because sometimes we can project that unforgiveness on relationships, starting with our children, our husbands, our mates, and even people we work with and things like that. Get the help you need to get through that. It's real. If you think you're depression, anxiety, you know, some things, all things require prayer and God. If you need medication for that, get that. Because we look, even us as a culture, we look at counseling, oh, that's for white people. Or in the church, you look like God gonna answer all my prayers. He gonna help me with this anxiety. He gonna help me with depression. He is gonna do that. God is. But if you need something to help with that, a therapist, some medication, get that.
Right.
Don't exclude that from your journey with God and recovering forgiveness and struggling and survival. That's the most dangerous place to be, survival. You fighting the water, you fighting the waves, you fighting you and everybody else. Because that was me. I was fighting me and everybody else. But God really he fell on me. He covered me. And when I surrendered myself, and surrender is not just a one time, it's a consistency where you see. Yeah, so what I realized with not only writing the book Behind the Badger Story as a former crime victims advocate, I did that too. So I realized working with therapists and their groups, and they would do workshops and use art therapy to help women process their trauma and the grief and help them heal wherever they were and meet them where they are. So my Behind the Badger Story has allowed me to do workshops on the power of storytelling. Yeah, so I create a safe space for women. So my rooms have grown where I'm able to not just talk about her story, but provide art. I do art, you know, what's the vision boards, painting, and different art projects to help them work through that grief and art. Prayer chairs, we've done that in recovery. And just allow them a space where some people might not be ready to tell it, but when they hear someone share, they'll realize, dang, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we recover loudly, we'll help someone who's silently suffering.
Sure.
And I've learned that is the key. I allow a safe space. What's said in here stays in here. We don't have any phones because a lot of times everybody Facebook Live or posting, somebody sharing. A lot of women aren't ready for that.
Right.
And until they are, I create that space where we can share, hug, love, cry, whatever we got to do, we do that. And I just I trademarked a workbook in my business where I'm hoping to create a package where I can do that on a larger scale to help women. Because they always say, how did you write your book? How did you start? What did you do? So I give them the gold nuggets on how to do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you give us a sneak peek of anything you got coming up next?
Oh, wow. What do I have coming up next? I'm working on something really big right now. I can't tell it yet until I pay for my venue. And then when I pay for my venue, that won't be until November. I'll get a tour and things like that. But once I do that in November, I will definitely be seeking partnerships, collaborations, because it's big. And I'm so glad. I'm glad God gifted me the vision to share it, to help inspire other women and men, because I'm not going to exclude it. But I'm available to do book signings, workshops whenever anyone's ready. My website is createdart.llc.com because storytelling is more than just writing. It's poetry, it's in music, it's in film. So I'm working on doing that. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, we have a segment now that we...
So yeah.
Okay, so we just started a segment with all of our guests. It's called This or That. So you just think, don't think, just whatever comes to your head first.
Okay.
Coney Island or Better Made?
Better Made.
Chili cheese fries or chili dog?
Chili cheese fries.
Old Motown or new Detroit rap?
Old Motown.
Journaling or talking it out?
Now that's hard. Say journaling or talking it out? Talking it out.
Heels or sneakers?
Heels.
Old school R&B or gospel playlist?
Gospel.
Okay. Well,
I got one.
Okay.
I love a fellow Wired.
Oh yeah.
Omar and Michael.
Oh, that's a good one. Probably Omar.
Barksdale or what was the young cat, man, after Barksdale?
This Barksdale for me though. I know who you're talking about the
No, the short dude that was with the little girl, that was with Snoop.
now see we're gonna have to Google.
I think-
Have to Google that. Hold on. Okay, can I pull my phone
Oh,
out?
yeah.
Okay, look. Hold on. Let's see. You had me go back and watch Wire again.
See, why you looking at Stringer and Cheese?
Oh, Stringer.
McNulty or Bunk?
Oh, that's probably Bunk.
I gotta find out who.
Hold on, I'm gonna find that out. And then I actually, seriously, I've written a film script for film. I've written a script for film and TV. I have two seasons. 2 seasons from Behind the Badge, Her Story.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, I do. If it's okay to, I know we kind of off track
No.
from the Wire, but the
Yeah.
Wire it just clicked where
that's
my
good.
story is parallel to the Wire.
So where can everybody find this book right
That's a
now?
good question.
Oh, good question. Everybody can find it on Amazon,
Okay.
anywhere books are sold online, or they can reach out to me on social media. I am on Instagram, Badge3641 Detroit. I'm on Facebook. It's my name, Antoinette M. James. And you can find me there and inbox me because I'll sign it and send it out myself.
Nice.
I do that too.
Nice.
Or even hold up. Wait a minute. Let's talk about where we can do it in person, right? I meet people at a Coney Island, have a book signing, anywhere in Detroit, because Detroit, like I said, I was chasing a childhood dream. The city, I love the people in Detroit. I might be from, they call it Ipsy Tucky, but some about Detroit. The people, I love serving the people. Resilience, I'll use that word. The people in the city of Detroit are resilient. And I have a heart for the city. I have a heart for the people, the young people, just all people, young people, old, no matter what. I have a heart for the city. So I love to come back and set up shop.
I want to thank Miss Antoinette James for coming on today. Take a look at her book, Behind the Badge. You gonna say she found
Her story.
Her story. Ooh, excuse me.
You gotta say her
Behind
story.
the Badge, her story.
Story.
Yes.
Because it could be y'all story one day.
Yep.
Anything else you want to
Yes.
say coming up?
I'm just excited. I'm honored to be a part of this podcast
Thank you
and
so
the
much.
group here. And yes, look, we're gonna really connect.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to be here today. And what God has, I think, I believe, and I've seen is big. And recovery is possible. We are a witness. So if somebody you know is struggling domestic violence, recovery, addiction, if they're struggling with drugs, substance use, recovery is not only possible, but it's real. We are living witnesses to give you hope. There's faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of those is love. Love yourself, and I just look so forward to seeing what God does next.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you too. Yes.
That's what it is.
Stay tuned.
Bye.